So on Rittenhouse, yeah, there's absolutely no reason to go with a weapon to that protest or riot. Like if you're right and it's a terrible riot, and in a lot of ways that it was. So what I it's like so I wouldn't have put up the chyron saying peaceful protests as the fires are going on in the back. No, of course there was some uh, fires, there was vandalism, there was danger. There's no question about that, right? You can't deny reality. Now, why would I grab a weapon and go in the middle of that? It doesn't make any sense. It's not even his community.
Do you,
And
so
so,
the obvious, well, I mean, it was his community, but like the obvious comparison would be like the rooftop Koreans during like the Rodney King riots in LA. Like, do you think that does anybody in the United States have any sort of moral right to defend communities that feel attached to, or do you think that's just
no, no,
something
no,
that?
no, 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 Stephen. So I think it's those are two very, very different things. Look, you got a store, you worked your ass off for it. My dad's an immigrant. He worked his ass off. He built his own business brick by brick, and you want to protect that. I hear you, brothers and sisters. Okay, I got you. And these days there's a lot of crime, and you want to protect your family. Absolutely, I get it. Okay, but he didn't live there. I mean, they crossed state lines.
He
I don't
was
know if
just real quick because I lived in Nebraska. He crossed it. It was a 15-minute drive. He lived like 15 minutes away. And when you live in, I lived in Omaha. There's a lot of towns that you drive out to that you're like part of those communities. A lot of people in Council Bluffs go to
why?
because
Like, why
he
go there?
well, why? I mean, like people don't talk about it, but like, like the day before the Rittenhouse thing happened, there was that older guy, Robert Cobb. His business had literally been burned to the ground. It was being arsoned, and I think he was running around with a fire extinguisher trying to put it out. And people,
And what was Rittenhouse going to do? Was he going to sit there and shoot everybody that came by? I mean,
well,
why
he,
go
I mean,
there
he
with a
shot
weapon?
3 people. I mean, what do you mean? I mean, what do you mean?
Yeah, but that's my point. He went there to go shoot. In my opinion, he went there not specifically like in my mind premeditated. I'm going to go and murder some people on the left, and I'm going to feel great. No,
Sure, but
right?
like, but
But I'm
then
going
when
to
you
go
look
with a
at
weapon, and if there's any kind of provocation, whoo, I might get to use it.
yeah, but I mean, we can say that, but when you look at the evidence, there's just no
Yeah.
evidence. There's nothing that supports that.
No, that's 100%. Look, he goes there with a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to provoke. Then, why did he shoot the first guy?
He shot
Okay,
the first
look,
guy because the first guy was chasing him in a parking lot. He'd already made threats earlier. That's on camera, and he was lunging for Rittenhouse's rifle after a guy behind him had fired a shot with his pistol. After Rittenhouse turned around to see where the noise was coming from.
So, but Stephen, I think that you're proving my point, which is
I don't think so at all. I think it was
hold
it was.
on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me explain.
Go ahead.
So you go into this dangerous, what you think is a dangerous situation. You go in there with a weapon. Then you hear a shot. That's true. There was a shot. He heard it. He didn't see where the shot was coming from. He just turned around and shot the guy.
He turned around and shot a guy that
That's
was lunging.
incredibly reckless.
No, it wasn't.
Incredibly reckless.
It wasn't reckless at all because he only shot the guy that was lunging for him, trying to grab his rifle. This is indisputable on video. The guy
So
was
wait,
chasing
wait,
him
wait,
down. He turned
Steven,
around. He was
can I come
lunging.
to your
Yeah.
house? Can I come to your house with a weapon, and then if you grab for it, I get to shoot you?
If probably, yeah. If you were in my
That's
house,
crazy.
no,
You don't
hold
see
on,
that
wait.
that's crazy?
If you come to my house and you have a weapon on you, and we get into an altercation, I'm gonna grab that gun from you. Of course, you have a right to defend yourself, especially if I was twice your size.
House with a weapon in the first place. What
You
am
should.
I doing
Well,
there?
hold on. You shouldn't be in my house with a weapon because I'm on private property. The city of Kenosha was not private property. Rittenhouse had just as much a right to be there as any other protester did.
So listen, I'll give you an analogy. January 6th. I'm very upset about it. I don't like what happened there at all. I think they were trying to undermine our democracy. If I went in there with an AR-15 or any kind of weapon and I looked for a threat, I'd definitely find one, and then I'd get to kill everybody that I thought was a threat. I mean, that guy you say is lunging for his weapon. From what I saw, that guy's trouble. I get it. He was troubled, I should say. The first guy who got killed, right? And so he goes, maybe he went looking for trouble too. I don't know, right? But he threw a plastic bag that had plastic bottles in it.
Wait. The plastic bag had Rittenhouse didn't even see the plastic bag. The
That's
issue
my
was
point.
no. But the issue is Rittenhouse was running away. This guy was chasing him, and when Rittenhouse turned around with an assault rifle, the guy went to grab the rifle from him.
No,
That's a pretty
Steven,
clear
if
cut.
we
Like,
follow- Steven, if we follow, and then he got hit with then he shoots and kills someone. Then he's running through the crowd. He's made the situation 10,000 times more.
he's not making
dangerous.
this. He's running away from. He's running to the cops to turn himself in,
There's
which is exactly what he
the
should be
crowd
doing.
is everywhere. The crowd is everywhere. He's running through the crowd, and then somebody sees that he shot someone, and they go after him with a skateboard, which I wouldn't have done, right? And But now he shoots and kills the guy with a skateboard.
Yeah, because the guy's trying to assault him with a skateboard. If he had a bat, we'd say the same thing.
Steven, okay, look, couple of things. Everybody's different. Everybody's different, right?
Yeah.
So I get it. Some people will be scared, and if you get hit with a skateboard, you think, all right, I'm going to murder that guy. For me, I get hit with a skateboard, I don't shoot the other guy.
Cenk, if somebody hits you with a skateboard in the face, there's like a 20% chance that you die. A skateboard?
Okay,
Skateboards are a big thing.
Chance.
Okay, that's great that you would, but I wouldn't compel a 17-year-old to take that chance in the middle of the mud. Especially what the people that beat that one dude within an inch of his life, Robert Cobb, the day before, that everybody that went to this protest, they'd all seen videos of that. That's why people went to the riots the second day. That guy got beat to an inch of his life with bare fists.
Steven, if you say, hey, listen, I see an altercation on the subway, the bus, the street, and I'm going to go protect not even a family member, but a random woman walking by, working class person, and they're getting picked on, and I happen to see it, and you jump in, I got you, okay? And I actually appreciate you, right? But you make an active decision to drive into what you think is a riot and a dangerous situation with a weapon, and then you get freaked out by the plastic bag and a shot you didn't see and a skateboard, and you kill 2 people. That's on you, brother. You never should have gone there in the first place. You were looking for trouble, and then you found it, and then you cry like you're a victim? Oh, hell no. Steven, the problem here, sorry, one more thing.
Go for it.
The problem here is that if we follow your way of thinking about it, and you tell me otherwise, of course, so I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think if we follow that way of thinking, then everybody's going to grab a weapon. They're all going to be in the streets. And the minute anybody looks kind of funny at you or throws a bag or you hear something that's loud or there's a guy with a skateboard, boom, 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 we're shooting each other to no end. That's why stand your ground is a disaster. And wherever they pass stand your ground laws, you have more homicides every time.
So if you have videos coming out of people who are losing their businesses, who are getting beaten by people on the street, who are rioting in a city, the next day, people are going to show up to defend that town. Like, we live in the United States, whether we like guns or we don't, that's the reality of it. Rittenhouse had more of a right to be there than any of the rioters that were there after dark, that were setting things on fire, that were causing... He had just as much as right to be there, if not more than any other person. In the United States, you are allowed to carry a weapon on you as well. The idea that he was shooting Rosenbaum because he threw a bag at him, that's just not true. We can watch the videos a million times. Rosenbaum was already getting violent before in the night. There is no video of Rittenhouse provoking anybody ever. There is video of Rosenbaum talking to people, using the N-word, saying, I'm gonna fuck somebody up. He was the one that was chasing Rittenhouse for like 20 meters through a car park before he Rittenhouse finally turned and shot him. And then the other guy was charging with a skateboard to hit him. Grosskreutz charged him with a pistol to shoot and kill him, and he got shot. His arm got shot. I don't see the wild chain of events where it's like, oh my God, since Rittenhouse was allowed to shoot a guy that was charging him for 20 meters and trying to grab his rifle, and then he shot another guy that went to attack him with a skateboard. Like, yeah, I mean, in the United States, with a guy with an AR-15, that's about what I would expect to happen. And I mean, we're a year or two later. It's not like there's been a deluge of shootings of innocent skaters now by young boys with AR-15. So, I mean, it doesn't seem like the landscape changed very much.
No. So, Steven, look, there's a couple of things here. So, number one, the jury gets to decide whatever they decide. And so if they decided, hey, you know what, that was enough of a self-defense, okay, that's what the jury decided. So I'm telling you my perspective on it. And I get that you might technically get away with it if it's a skateboard and you felt, oh my God, the skateboard's a little dangerous. And the guy lunging at me, you know how many guys have lunged at me in my life? If I'd have killed all of them, I'd have killed like 20, 40 guys, okay? So there's the, hey, should he be guilty? That's up to the jury. There's, should he have done that? And I think that's crazy that he went there. He definitely should not have done that. But to your point of like, oh, me saying, oh, Republicans want violence from time to time. Oh, that's crazy. No, they're just like us. No, there's polling. 28% of Republicans say that it's time for violence. So that's a giant number. And
it is, but I mean, for Charlottesville, as hateful as that riot was, they weren't destroying the city. I think that's a key component that, like, not to mention, and for Kenosha, that city was being destroyed off of misinformation reported about the Jacob Blake shooting. And there were videos of, like, people getting attacked, of car dealerships being set on fire. It just seems like there's remarkably little empathy for the people whose community, if you go to Kenosha today, if you go downtown, there's still shit that's boarded up that has never opened again as a result of those riots. And people are just fixated on the people that were, I mean, as shitty as it is, defending their community against who they perceived as outsiders that were coming just to destroy it. But
yeah, so look, I keep saying last thing because we're so out of time.
Sure. Yeah, sorry,
Okay,
go for it.
one more last